Well, let's now get you the latest on the case involving stray dogs in the Supreme Court. Now, the Supreme Court on Tuesday has indicated it may consider fixing liability on both civic authorities and dog feeders in cases of injury or death caused by stray dog attacks, signaling a tougher judicial stance on a problem it said it can no longer be ignored. A bench of Justices Vikram Nath, Sandeep Mehta and N.V. Anjaria remarked that individuals concerned about stray dogs should take responsibility for them instead of allowing them to loiter around, bite and scare members of the public. That is the observation of the Supreme Court judges. The oral observations were made while hearing a suo motu case on the growing menace of stray dogs in public spaces. That's how this case is described. Remember, Justice Vikram Nath warned that the court may impose heavy compensation on the state for every dog bite or fatal attack, particularly involving children or the elderly, if authorities fail to act. Now, at the same time, the bench flagged the role of private feeders, questioning who should be held accountable when a child is attacked. Who should be responsible when dogs attack a 9-year-old, the organization that's feeding them? You want us to shut our eyes to the problem, is what Justice Mehta observed on this matter. The bench also underlined that stray dogs cannot be treated as being under no one's control, noting that ownership carries legal responsibility and requires licensing. Now, the court is monitoring compliance with its November order. Remember, this is regarding its November order, directing that local authorities remove stray dogs from institutional premises such as bus stands, railway stations, hospitals, schools and campuses. While the dogs were to be vaccinated and sterilized under the animal birth control rules, that's ABC rules, the bench had specified that they should not be released back into the same institutional areas. Now, several animal rights groups later sought modification of this order. They were quite upset over this, arguing that preventing the re-release violated established animal welfare norms. That is what the animal welfare groups are arguing, and those in favor of protecting the dogs. So the court is hearing all these objections. It heard them, in fact, at the length of over 3 days last week. And many, justices and many, lawyers defending the stand taken by the animal rights group, saying that the dogs should be returned to the same place where they're removed from. However, there was one advocate, that senior advocate, Arvind Dattar, who appeared from one such organization, however, defending the November order, arguing that it was firmly grounded in statutory rules, existing expert reports. He also contended that stray dogs have no legal right to occupy institutional or public premises meant for humans to use, and that returning them to such areas would amount to animal trespass. So that is one, argument made by him, or supporting of the judge's argument rather. Dattar also drew the court's attention to the growing problem of feral dogs in wildlife regions such as Ladakh, where an estimated 55,000 free-ranging dogs pose a serious threat to critically endangered species. And remember, this is a separate petition that has been put before courts by the BHNS. Now, Justice Mehta noted that the issue had now reached even court premises. He referred to a recent dog bite incident at the Gujarat High Court and expressed concern over attacks on municipal staff by dog lovers while attempting to capture the stray dogs. Now, from the animal welfare side, senior advocates urged the court to strike a balance between public safety, ecological considerations, arguing that dogs play a role in the ecosystem stability and that law mandates compassionate treatment of all animals. Senior advocate Pinky Anand emphasized that the law required animals to be treated with compassion, and she cautioned against approaches that would amount to culling. So, a lot of arguments being made, a lot of back and forth in the Supreme Court. The question of who is responsible for public safety when a dog attacks was taken up by the Supreme Court rather strongly today. And the hearings, however, will continue. The next hearing will take place on the 20th of January at 2 p.m.